For years, you've told yourself the same thing. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll get this under control. Tomorrow, I'll drink less. Tomorrow, I'll stop. But tomorrow kept arriving and somehow nothing changed. But then one day it happened. Maybe your wake-up call was dramatic. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe it was an alarming conversation with your doctor. Maybe it was another fight with your spouse. Maybe it was losing something you never thought you'd lose because of your drinking. Or maybe it was simply the moment you could no longer deny the truth, that you cannot keep going on like this. And so you decide to quit drinking, at least for a while. You imagine a different kind of life, a life where every evening isn't consumed by thinking about drinking, a life where you no longer negotiate with yourself over how much, when, or whether you can keep it under control. A life where you can feel free again. And when you imagine that life, maybe for the first time in a long time, you feel something that has been in short supply. Hope. But there's something I need to tell you. Hope is important. It may even be necessary. But hope alone will not carry you through the first week sober. Because the first week after quitting drinking is not simply a matter of wanting it. It's not passively checking days off a calendar. It's an upheaval. It's a psychological event. It's a biological event. Your body changes, your brain changes, your emotions change. And if you don't understand what is happening during that first week, it becomes easy to misread the entire experience. You may think this isn't working. You may think sobriety feels worse than drinking. You may think maybe you're not built for this. But understanding and preparing for what's coming in the first week can make the difference between reaching this first milestone or falling back into the quagmire of drinking. I'm Dr. Donald Crow. I practiced emergency medicine for 40 years, and I cared for countless people struggling with alcohol dependence. For years, I was struggling with it too. I've now been sober for 28 years. Early on, I learned this. Getting sober and staying sober are not the same thing. They require different tools. But before you can build a sober life, before you can focus on long-term recovery, before you discover growth or peace or freedom, you first have to get through that first week. That's where it begins. And I want to walk you through that first week with you now, day by day. Not in theory, not as a lecture, but practically. What it feels like, what is happening inside your body and brain, and why understanding it can help you navigate it. But before I continue, one important point. Alcohol withdrawal can be dangerous. For some people, especially heavy daily drinkers, withdrawal can cause seizures, hallucinations, delirium tremens, and these can be life-threatening. If your drinking has been severe or prolonged, medical supervision may be necessary. Don't white-knuckle something dangerous out of pride or ignorance. But for most people, the first week is challenging without being catastrophic. Uncomfortable, but survivable. Day one begins with momentum. The reason why you stopped is still fresh. Maybe fear, maybe shame, maybe anger, maybe exhaustion. But it still has energy, and that energy can carry you through those first 24 hours. But almost immediately something else begins. Your body protests. Your brain protests. You have to understand this. Your body has adapted to chronic use of alcohol, a depressant chemical, by ramping up excitation to regain balance. On that first day when you remove alcohol, that hyperexcitable state persists, and you feel it in the form of tremors, nausea, and restlessness, among other symptoms. Your brain has also adapted to daily alcohol use such that its presence is considered normal, in fact integral to proper functioning. Your higher brain, which communicates to you with thoughts that narrate your life, knows that you quit drinking for good reasons, but even on the first day may begin negotiations to return to drinking. The deeper parts of the brain do not speak through logic. They do not debate, they do not reason. They speak through sensations and emotions, through anxiety, through craving, through discomfort. And after years of repeated drinking, those deeper systems have become trained to believe alcohol is necessary. Necessary for relief, necessary for sleep, necessary to calm down, necessary to function. In short, necessary to survive. So when you suddenly remove it, this part of your brain reacts as well. Anxiety rises. You feel a foreboding, uneasy, agitated. None of this is weakness. Quitting drinking on this first day is an introduction to a new normal, and the doorway is withdrawal. The common symptoms include sweating, tremor, racing thoughts, irritability, difficulty concentrating, muscle tension, and insomnia. And all of these might say hello on day one. For me, insomnia was one of the worst parts. For years, I had not been falling asleep naturally. I'd been sedating myself into unconsciousness. Those are not the same thing. But now my body had to relearn how to sleep without alcohol. Day one is not about fixing your life. It's not about figuring out the future, and it's not about the first 90 days. It's not about forever. Day one has job one. Don't drink. That's it. And if you make it through that first full day without drinking, you might feel as though this time could be different. And then you awaken to day two. Buckle up, because the second day without alcohol is often harder. The adrenaline of making the decision has faded. Some novelty has worn off. And your nervous system is now reacting more fully to alcohol being gone. You wake up tired, restless, foggy, emotionally raw. And this is often when a dangerous thought appears. If this is sobriety, you can have it. But this is not sobriety. This is still withdrawal. This is your brain recalibrating. Your brain adapted chemically around repeated intoxication. Now it has to slowly adjust in the other direction. And that process is uncomfortable. This is where basic self-care becomes incredibly important. Hydration, nutrition, eating, even when you don't feel like it, moving your body, going for a walk, getting some sunlight, a shower, because these things don't cure alcoholism, but they do produce positive distraction while your nervous system stabilizes. Day two also brings another challenge. The future suddenly feels enormous. It's common to begin to think, how am I supposed to do this forever? That thought can break people, because nobody can emotionally tolerate forever. So pull back. Today, this hour, just this moment right now. That's all. Don't drink today, and when night comes, put your head on the pillow. Sleep will come, or it won't. But you've got another 24 hours under your belt. Day three is where discouragement often peaks, because by now people expected to feel better, and often they do not, or not enough. The symptoms may not be worse, but they're still there. And emotionally, this can feel defeating. You think, I've done all this, and I still feel lousy. But day three gives you something important, proof. You made it through yesterday and the day before. Your brain told you the discomfort was unbearable, yet here you are. Day three is also when time becomes strangely heavy. Hours that used to disappear into drinking are now there sitting, waiting to be lived. And that empty space can feel perplexing. So structure matters. Plan the day. Fill the hours. Give yourself things to do. Don't know what to do? Sit down and write a list of things to do. Don't sit passively and wait for craving to find you. The self-care rituals begun yesterday should be repeated today. On the third day, the turmoil has often quieted enough that you can try some reading added to the mix. At the end of your schedule of activities for the day should be going to bed. Schedule a time and stick to it. Day four often feels like a subtle turning point. Not dramatic, not magical, but noticeable. You may wake up and realize you slept a little better. You may notice that your thoughts are slightly clearer, your body slightly calmer, the morning less punishing. And with that improvement comes a trap. The negotiating brain returns. Maybe the drinking wasn't that bad. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I can handle it differently this time. This may be one of the most dangerous thoughts in early sobriety, because as physical discomfort begins to improve, honesty uncovered by the pain begins to fade. The brutal honesty that you got sober for good reasons starts slipping away. And that's when the old internal arguments return. I'm okay. It really wasn't that bad. I can control it now. Most lives organized around alcohol rely on some degree of dishonesty. Not simply dishonesty with others, dishonesty with ourselves. Sobriety begins stripping that dishonesty away since it causes us to confront truths about ourselves, often long-hidden truths. And that can feel deeply uncomfortable because alcohol often worked as anesthesia. It numbed the discomfort and blurred the truth. Without it, reality becomes sharper. Day 4 is where honesty, or the lack of it, often becomes visible in our day-to-day lives. The goal today is to be aware of this and to strive to stay honest. That begins with the lie that a drink would be a good idea, of course, but it doesn't stay limited to that alone. You monitor your thinking and behavior on this 4th day. The goal is awareness and effort, not perfection. On the 5th morning, when you look in the mirror, you might be surprised by your reflection. Day 5 is often when improved physical appearance becomes easier to notice. Less swelling, better skin tone, brighter eyes, better energy. Sometimes weight changes begin to show up, and these things matter because visible progress reinforces hope. Your brain begins cataloging evidence that something is changing. For me, I tracked my weight each morning. It was simple, and it gave me proof that not drinking was changing my body, and that alcohol had cost me more physically than I realized. Day 5 is also where routine becomes crucial, because motivation begins fading. Motivation always fades. Recovery eventually becomes less about emotion and more about repetition, building habits and automaticity. Wake up, live life, don't drink, repeat. Your brain will learn through repetition that this is the new normal. By day 6, your body is healing. Your liver is less swollen and your stomach lining less inflamed. You may feel this, but be aware that most of your body's repairs take more time and will not be instantly rewarded with positive sensations. Moving forward, the challenge shifts from physiological to psychological, and day 6 often brings emotional fatigue. You get tired of fighting, tired of thinking about not drinking. Life feels narrowed down to this daily single effort, and that can feel discouraging. You undeniably do feel better physically, but part of your brain tells you that the cost for this has been that you have given up your ability to enjoy life. Accepting this invites escaping into self-pity. Feeling sorry for yourself because you can't drink creates paralysis and prevents taking the actions necessary to change your life. Self-pity reinforces the idea that feelings are permanent and life will always remain dull and colorless because it seems that way now. These feelings are coming from your instinctual brain because 6 days without drinking is not enough to bring about the changes necessary to shift these feelings. The normal tendency is to use your intellectual brain to think your way out of these morose emotions. This is a mistake. Only actions which often seem unrelated to the issues at hand, will result in improving your ability to regain control and discover that moments of joy can still find you. Telling yourself to keep a positive attitude and employing empowering affirmations isn't necessarily harmful, but must be accompanied by action for true change to occur, beginning with the action of not drinking. With just 6 days sober, you have successfully resisted old patterns and routines. Underneath the surface, something important is happening. Every sober day strengthens new pathways. Every sober day weakens old ones. Every day you don't drink teaches your brain something. You are changing it through action, not theory, not insight, not motivation, action. Day 6 may not feel glamorous, but it is powerful. Then, day 7 arrives, 1 full week. Let me be clear, 1 week is not lifetime sobriety, but it matters enormously because you've now proven something. You can survive without alcohol. And for someone who once believed that they could not, that matters. The direct effects of alcohol are gone. The deeper healing continues, and that takes time. But the first wall has been breached, and now another truth begins to emerge. Quitting drinking was only the doorway. Recovery is what happens after you walk through it. Learning how to live, learning how to feel, learning how to tolerate discomfort, learning how to connect honestly with other people, learning how to exist without chemical escape. That is the deeper work. But none of it begins until you survive the first week. So if you are somewhere in that first week right now, hear this clearly. Feeling terrible does not mean you're failing. Feeling anxious does not mean sobriety isn't working. Feeling restless does not mean you're broken. The discomfort simply means that your brain and body are healing. The 7th day is a milestone, and it is important to take a moment and reassess. Revisit what you have escaped. Feel your body and enjoy the tangible improvements in your physical health. Take a minute to revel in a sense of satisfaction. After a minute, stop, and remember it all came from not drinking. One other thing, look around yourself, and if you are alone, now is the time to reconsider that. It is normal in the first week of significant change to isolate and seek solitude. There are many reasons for this, and of course some people, lucky ones in my opinion, seek outside support from the beginning. But for most, like me, they hunkered down and isolated themselves at the beginning of this journey. If that has been the case for you, now is the time to purposefully connect with others. Most find it easier to seek out and associate with those that are also not drinking. At 1 week sober, I don't recommend testing sobriety by returning to a drinking environment. But intentionally connecting with others can strengthen and expand you. Addiction thrives in secrecy and isolation. Recovery moves in the opposite direction, toward connection, toward people. Look, although quitting drinking for 1 week does not ensure long-term recovery, it is absolutely a prerequisite for it. Understanding what most people feel physically and psychologically during this critical period can help individuals prepare themselves for this beginning. If you have reached a point where a divorce from alcohol seems the best way forward, then a second milestone to consider is reaching 90 days sober. To help individuals reach that goal, I've created a 90-day sobriety survival kit that helps motivated individuals reassess their relationship with alcohol and provides practical guides for achieving this important milestone. I've left links for more information about it in the description below. Please check it out. Also, please subscribe, like, and comment below to help the channel grow and build a community of people enjoying freedom from alcohol and other intoxicants. Also, if you enjoyed this, why not check out this video where I discuss the concept of being nearly sober. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Donald Crow, and I'll see you in the next one.